Beloved heart, I invite you to sign up to my mailing list, and as a result of signing up, you will get a free gift. It's a 5D rebalance tune up of all these chakras, and chakras are my specialty. So I would love to gift you with this transmission that is filled with light language and codes to help you stay balanced and tuned up during these increased frequencies of energy of this ascension, this new earth frequency. So check out the links in the notes of this show, and I look forward to connecting with you. I am sending you love. This is the transfiguration of the new you. Hello, beloved. I'm Monica Bermudez, your host for the podcast called Ascended Earths, the Transfiguration of the New Human. Welcome back to another episode. I had a hard time actually trying to figure out the title for this episode. And I wanted to talk about health, about food diet, but I also didn't want to sound like I was, telling anybody what to do or anything like that. But this is just more like a guidance, and really what came up through as I was channeling for a title for this was the New Earth body, light, nourishment. And so, and the reason why light nourishment is because it could be light-hearted nourishment. It could be light code nourishment, because what's occurring right now with our physical body, because our physical body, which is made of the molecules and electrons, atoms, and going deeper into those atoms and finding, that connection of, the whole quantum physics in relation to all that. Our bodies are electromagnetic. So, everything, astrological events, all the solar flares, all the Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of the earth is a combination of so many cosmic light codes of energies that are coming in together. And so it is impacting our bodies in different way, because our bodies becoming more crystalline and more light, that is. So literally becoming lighter. So what we have been evolving from, carbon-based type of, energy is being pretty much converted into being more of this diamond-like crystalline type energy in our body. And so as such, with these changes that are coming in, what is happening is, because your body is so intuitive, right? When you're really tapped in to your body and really listening to your body and what it needs, I want to say that for the New Earth body, it's more of intuitive eating and what it is that your body needs at this time. So that means that I'm not going to get into like anything of like the labels, because I feel sometimes the labels have a tendency to separate us or cause, some kind of judgment around that. And I'm talking about like labels such as like vegetarian, vegan, omnivore, or carnivore, whatever you want to call it. And so this is not going to be, judgment on whatever your preference is for eating. The way I see it is that because of the energy shifting so much, I say we just go with the flow of what it is that your body's asking for right now. So I know that, there's certain religions and cultures that have certain restrictions on what it is, that we're engraved as far as like eating is concerned. And so, it's not to also criticize any of those. If that is what your path is, that is your path, for you to follow. But what I've been experiencing personally is this, right? I would say that I grew up as a baby already gravitating towards more vegetables than meat. And so I feel that I was really born that way, because as my mom would tell me stories, is that when she was pregnant with me, that she all of a sudden got this sudden desire and shift to want more vegetables and less meat. So basically becoming more vegetarian. And so she gravitated towards more health books, reading more different health books and so forth. And so I feel like, as children, right, this is another topic for another time, but as children, we choose our parents and who it is that, we're coming to be here in this lifetime. And so we also have an influence when, that parent is, when they're pregnant, we have that influence in them also before jumping into our physical bodies. And so it does feel, it resonates with me because I grew up also eating just mostly vegetables, and I did have, meat and fish. How, my mom would cook mostly vegetables than meat, and that's how we grew up. And so I noticed that the more that I was having vegetables, that the more that my body felt good. And I really liked it. So I gravitated more towards eating more vegetables. And so as I grew up, I basically gave up meat. And so even till this day now, I ask my body, do you want to have meat or fish or anything like that? And my body says no. And so I continue to have, mostly vegetables. There was a point though, like when 2012 occurred, that I all of a sudden lost my desire for eggs and cheese. And I never really had milk because I was always very lactose intolerant. But I had cheese still like every once in a while, or really liked it, so much, but it didn't really bother me as much. And so as 2012, which was another big shift in humanity, when that hit, when that came, when we went through that year, that ending period year in that cycle, all of a sudden my body felt like it really wanted to just, it lost a desire for egg and cheese. So then I thought, okay, I might be becoming like vegan now. But there was a phase, right, that I went through it without any egg and cheese and having like mostly vegetables. And later on, though, as things started to shift, and there's been quite an acceleration of energy, so our body is really going to be asking for different kind of foods during that moment because of all the changes in the energies in our cells, in our molecules and electrons. And there's a lot of energy that is being used up for that shift and that conversion of us becoming more of these, crystalline type bodies, of our physical bodies. There's a certain level, of energy that is exerted in that. And so our body is going to shift as well, and it's going to ask for different things in the moment, right? So I would say go with the flow of what it is that your body is asking. And so as things, like started to really accelerate, then there were instances, and there still is some instances where I feel like that my body desires a little bit of egg. And I especially notice it when I travel. Like if I can't find anything else, that really like resonates for me in that moment, or I feel like there is some energy shifting in me, I will have, some egg, but I will have like just a little bit. And so what I find for most of the time is that I don't really desire as much egg, but I only eat it on certain occasions, right? When my body feels like it needs it. But I would say for the majority of time, it really just has been more towards like vegetables and fruits. And lately, I've been desiring certain very specific fruits like pineapple and apple, and also grapes. And I feel like a lot of our vegetables, especially the ones that come, from the that are, fresh, that don't have any of these other preservatives to them, like chemicals and all this other stuff that are more natural, have certain encodements to them that do also support our body and the changes that we're going through, as well as our new earth body. And so I feel like with the new earth body, that we're just going to be more in this flow and feeling into what the body really needs in that moment for that nourishment. And I don't really think, that it should be a judgment from any of us to criticize anybody for how they eat. And so that is, something that I always practice the Confucius philosophy of do unto others as you will want to do unto yourself. So the reflection of the mirror, right? As you know, other people want to eat their own preference. It isn't, up to us to judge how they want to eat. If they have a preference to what they want to eat, like they want to eat meat, then we shouldn't get so upset about any of that. And, so it's something that I've always followed this philosophy growing up because I didn't really care for others also judging me for how I ate. And I learned to just maneuver around a lot of criticism from others for the way I ate. And I would always find the lighthearted, side of things. And other times I would be direct but still in a bit lighthearted. And so, that brings it up to this whole thing about the lighthearted nourishment of things. And that is to lighten up, lighten up on all things, when it comes to the food, to what you're eating and drinking, and listening to your body as well without getting, so polarized or triggered by others around you and how they're eating. And triggering, of course, is an activation. So it is activating some other areas inside that, may need some review or reflection for healing and so forth. So basically, that's the part about the food. But there's other aspects too about the light nourishment, right? Because there's new light codes that are streaming into the earth right now. And things are really accelerated so much, right? That these light codes are really accelerating us into like these different changes. So as our cells are also receiving these codes, it's also bringing up to the surface things that have been in the subconscious or buried under the rug, basically as an analogy. And so they are coming up to the surface. And so sometimes it could be overwhelming. And at times, though, your body will feel like extra exhausted or, you may feel like sleepy. So in that moment, it's best to really listen to your body and what is asking for rest. And so what I found right before the total solar eclipse reach its totality as the energy was building up like the week before, like a week before, like April 8th, I felt like extreme exhaustion come over me. And I knew at that point that I really needed to sleep. And if I didn't sleep, I noticed that my physical body just started to feel that it started to get sick. And so, when I started to rest more, afterwards, when things, after the eclipse, when I slept some more, I noticed that I felt 10 times better than, than I was before because I really wasn't giving my body the rest that it was, asking. So that's, one of the things that I noticed too is that rest is so important right now to really listen to your body when it's asking for rest and taking the naps and extra long sleeps if you need to. Because these energies have been a bit intense of, upgrades and integration that we're all doing right now through our physical body and our cells. Our physical body is so important. I talked about this in a previous episode about the sacred temple within, and the sacred temple, which is, our physical body also is housing, the soul. And our physical body is so key for the ascension because we're taking our body with us. Otherwise, then we would just be like these etheric beings and not really need the physical body. We're here on this earth right now, serving our purpose. And so there is this care and feeding and nourishment that the body needs to be maintained so that we're able to better serve to whatever means that is, right? To be learning, to be growing and expanding our spiritual evolution. So whatever lessons we come to learn here in this life, whatever cycles we come to complete, this is our time right now to be doing this. And also in that process, right? If this is your calling, that whatever it is that you're learning, whatever it is that you're shifting, you're also teaching others, whether that be through a role model or that be through, an actual public speaking, a public forum, So however that is, your own purpose, your own calling within your own heart. And so it's important, right, to listen to your physical body right now, to what it needs, and in connection to your heart GPS, and navigating, these energies, navigating what it needs to be nourished with, what your body needs to have at this time. So really, like, there's other aspects to the nourishment, light nourishment, right? Like the air, and how, doing breath work, doing breathing techniques. And just because the air also contains a very powerful vital life force that has been, spoken about through a lot of mystical organizations. And a lot of the ancients knew this. So it's time that we all really started to connect with the aspects of us here, of being here on the earth, which includes the element of air, and also connecting with the element of water. And that is taking more water, drinking more water, or, the amount that feels appropriate for a lot of the expansion that we're going through right now. These new light codes do require a lot of water as well. The earth element, connecting with the earth element through our grounding, right? And keeping us grounded to her, and still being, in our physical body, to whatever it is that's going through right now. It could be some kind of chaos or even some pain, right, that may surface. Just remember to stay in your body and let it pass through you. Because things, like I said, they are accelerated. And so the more that you're able to just stay with it, and let it pass through, the faster it will go through you, and just allow the time for its releasing to go. And that's what grounding serves in that way. So we also, need, some of these other areas, like our bathing in the sun, like getting vitamins from the sun, without getting, too much, and also protecting yourself, right? um, but those, are some of the factors and keys, as well as like light, lighthearted nourishment, like having some playful time, and also just being able to do something different without, falling into certain patterns and routines that sometimes, there may be a desire for something new, something different. And so just listening to those things as well, within ourselves, is all part of the package of this new earth body, and what we're all shifting. And it's a continuous expansion. We're going through this physical alchemy, let's just say, really metamorphing more of the crystalline body within ourselves, igniting more of our own light body too. And because, that a lot of our DNA, cells, electrons, and molecules, and all those other aspects within ourselves have been dormant for eons. And when trying to switch them on with these new light codes, is going to exert some form of energy. So that's why it's important to really listen to what the body needs, and that includes certain foods. And I've gone through like certain cycles myself where I feel like I don't really feel like eating much. And so I wouldn't eat as much. And sometimes, my body feels like it wants to eat a lot more. It's almost like we're pregnant because we kind of are pregnant with these new light codes in ourselves. And so the new earth body will be our guidance, as far as like how we're eating, and what feels, right in the moment, what it is that you're desiring. And so that's really the basis of this message that I wish you to take away from, to just be open to listening to your body, and that attunement, that connection to your body is really through your heart GPS, your heart navigation of, listening and providing for your body for what it needs right now or desires. And just, allow for it to also be able to integrate these energies and light codes in that way, and give it space. And most of all, talk to your body, give it love, and give love to each and every one of your cells, because they're all very much alive and they carry their own life force too. So that is also part of this light nourishment, is the self-care aspect of yourself, of the self-love that you give to yourself. And so I will leave you with that message and hope this is, helpful and useful for you as you progress in these new energies. And I will catch you in another episode. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to click like, save, and share with others so they can also experience what you just experienced. And stay tuned for some more high vibe episodes. And I'll be connecting with you in the next quantum field. Sending you so much love.